Anteeksi, mut mitä toi sanakirja maksaa?
59.
Kiitti. Täällä. Hei, missä on kopiokone ja printeri?
Ne on täällä.
Bare life. Nothing more. A living body. I am reduced to a living body. Bare life. Taking a space not much more than my physicality.
Yeah, so I think this concept of bare life is also something that artists can work with, because there's also a danger hovering over today's workers, you know, because of the eroding sovereignty of the state due to global market. People are becoming more and more stateless. So the reason that we saw all these walls and fences is because people are worried, or the governments are worried that their sovereignty is being jeopardized because of the capitalist system.
There's this anxiety even among the institution itself.
Yeah.
Is anxious.
Now today we're learning about immigration. The topics that we're going to discuss is movement, distance, belonging, and confinement. If you look closely, hold it up a little bit more up. Yes. If you look closely here, we wrote the production of a space. So we're talking about a space that is produced for purpose. And of course, up here somebody wrote Henry Lefebvre. I don't know who was it, but somebody wrote that. And then down here, we're talking more about artists like John Cage and Jens Klein. Yeah, hold it up a little bit higher. Yes. Okay, so up, yes.
Whereby you would have an artist which confides himself or herself or themselves to a certain space. Then you have others, such as immigrants, which are forced to be in reception centers, which are forced to stay within that system, within that place.
Yeah. The other fact is that we think that the state violence usually manifests itself toward these subjects at a threshold that is on the territorial zones of a state. But actually in today's global system, the threshold is reduced to these airports. So we had instances when after the so-called terrorist attacks, the police and the law enforcement were immediately coming to these airports because they see the threat always immediately from the outside.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a sad thing what this people has to go through. And they need to learn to code, and they need to be flexible for the working life, you know. They need to be able to get themselves going and learn the languages and get moving.
Idle situation, and I'm idle for no reason, just because my plans is depending on a decision of the state. So in this situation, all I can do is one, self-evaluate and reflect upon my situation.
Yeah.
So then everything is suspended in a zone where you don't know what the future is going to be like. So you're isolated from the world outside because of this situation, and you are repeating a process which can be performative. You're performing this
Self-evaluation.
Self-evaluation
Self-reflection.
every single time.
Mm.
So, as an artist, for example, like I'm performing an artist, you are contemplating on these issues while you are excluded from a certain area of society. So then, when you are making also art, you become, this isolation becomes evident.
And this, in the same way, there is the same notion in an airport that you are only, like, everything is very objective and everybody is subjected to the same rules.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we know that it's not true, you know?
Yeah.
We know that it's not true. So in a way, this performativeness
Mm-hmm.
can be observed. Like
Yeah.
how much of the discipline you're subjected to.
Exactly.
You know, it's a very big criteria,
Mhm.
and once you tick a certain bit,
Mm-hmm.
then you go to the next level, the
Mhm.
next level.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on who you are, how you look, you might be in a different category altogether.
Right. Yeah, different subjects experience this differently.
Yeah.
But the other element is the deportations and also self-deportations, because all these violences manifest itself at the airport. And even there is a certain performance that the law enforcement puts on in confronting the underprivileged citizens or the refugees. That is, that the interviews are being held at the airport police rather than the normal police.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a huge issue because there is this constant reminder to the subject that we are in control. So if we would decide that you could
Right
be
away, we have the
deported.
means.
Yes.
And to what is one summoned? To one's own self, not to what design is, can do, and takes care of in everyday being with one another, not even to what has moved it, what it has pledged itself to, or what it has let itself be involved with. Understood in a worldly way, for others and for itself, design is passed over in this call. The call to the self does not take the slightest notice of all this, because only the self of the day self is summoned and made to hear. The day collapses.
Yeah. It shows the artist studio as an individual zone where the theories that he is confronted with has led to a withdrawal or individualist space of art making.
Yeah, you can see the academia's role in this, in a way, how this process of studying leads to the individualization and atomization of the artist, in a way.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes they feel like they're wasting time and search for new meanings by repurposing the past in a way that it's totally pointless. So I don't know.
Yeah, in what sense actually Nietzsche used to say that we must remember the past in relation to our present, or in a way for our future, and not necessarily just for the sake of remembering the past, because in that sense we would stuck in a loop, you know. بله، گلوبالیسم از نظر من ایجنت های مختلف داره که بخاطر ایجنت های مختلفش دیمندهای مختلفی هم میکنه و پس مختلفی هم میذاره جلوی کشورها. خب مثلا همین آقا یه چیز دیگه، گلوبالیسم هند با گلوبالیسم چین یکی نیست.
خب مثلا کوبا در مثلا سال 60
آقا بعد کامل اون کار دیگه نمیکنه.
اینا همه آره که نمیکنه،
ولی نصفه میکنه.
نصفه آره تا حدی.
یعنی الان خود امریکا حتی به عنوان کشوری که سردمدار فری تریده، و اگه ما فری ترید رو بگیریم دماسنج گلوبالیسم، خب حتی امریکا هم اینجوری چیز نمیکنه.
I think people are in a situation right now that they're trying to resist, but they don't know how to resist. So then you see this pushback in a conservative way. So people want to take it back to a time that it wasn't freelance and cooperative. Or not cooperative, but not freelance and individuals as much as today. So, but the reason that there is no alternative, then you see this rise of the right, alternative right, and you know,
nationalism.
Nationalism, exactly.
بی تو این دل شکستم طاقت نداره، بیا پیشم عزیزم دوباره. بی تو زمونه نامهربونه، بی تو دل من شده باز دیوونه. عاشق نبودی تو همه بدونن، قصه دلتنگی رو با من بخونن.
Kahvia vai teetä?
Onks maita?
On joo.
No sit kahvi.
Entäs sokeria?
Ei.
No moi moi. Kiva nähdä. Miten menee?
Entäs sä? Mitä sulle?
Ihan moi, sori että mä oon myöhässä.
Joo, ei se.
Ero. Moi Dok, ja hyvää jatkoa.
تو همه بدونن، قصه دلتنگی رو با من بخونن. بی تو زمونه نامهربونه، بی تو دل من شده باز